And you and others have compared Donald Trump to Silvio Berlusconi, the former Italian prime minister. Why is that?
Well, they're very similar. They're both businessmen who consider themselves outsiders, who appeal to the basic common denominator, who basically campaigned against immigrants, campaigned as outsiders, called their opponents corrupt, inept, even traitors who attacked the media on and off. Berlusconi actually fired and sued many of my friends who worked here in Italian television, even comedians like Luttazzi. The same Trump sued Bill Maher. He called the judiciary the worst cancer of our democracy. I think people underestimated Berlusconi and he went on winning. And I wrote a year ago in the Washington Post that not to underestimate Trump because he might win. He's appealing to all kind of people, and I think the base is resentful of gridlock in Washington, D.C. and of the economic difficulties, and basically he's sanctioning prejudice as well. So I thought he will win, and he did, and we underestimated him, mocked him, laughed about him, and this is what we got.
So Barbie, what were the keys to Berlusconi winning over the Italian people?
Well, I think he really, just in the same way that Trump did, he really spoke to that common person. And you know, here he was in his chauffeur-driven car, in his Armani suit, you know, nothing like those people who ended up voting for him. But he represented a dream. He was a self-made man, successful, or so he presented himself on the work of his own back. And he did it kind of with a wink and a nudge, and was very sexist. That played well here in Italy, I'm sorry to say. He was extremely racist. That played well to a certain number of voters. And a lot of people thought they found common ground with him, and that's why they voted him. And again, they were sick of the old establishment. Berlusconi in Italy represented something fresh and new and different, and they voted him in 3 times.
Well, let's also remember, he also dominated the media. He owned half of the media, he controlled the other half, he was a master manipulator, exactly like Trump. People in the beginning used him for ratings, exactly like CBS chief who said, well, Trump is bad for the country, but it's good for CBS, bring it on, Donald. This is a kind of, we underestimated him and we thought that he will not win. Berlusconi went on winning, and basically most people when he left were worse off than when he entered office. 80% of young people now don't believe in democratic institution anymore. He waged a war on judiciary, on journalists. He waged actually a war between people themselves. The system is discredited since that moment. Italy had to be bailed out by Europe in 2014 and forced him to resign. Otherwise, it would have become like Greece or any other country. The risk with Trump, because he's a businessman and transactional, exactly like Berlusconi, his policy will be about what can I get out of this deal? And we're seeing the conflict of interest already rising, and we saw this with Berlusconi in Italy. His lawyers were sitting in parliament writing the reforms for him and defending him in court. I met him twice, I interviewed him twice, and I met him when he said that Islam is an inferior civilization, which was appealing to many Europeans here after 9/11. And privately, he told me that he never meant that. So he would say something in the morning, deny it in the evening, exactly like Trump. He would lie on and off and blankly. And then he told me that he never said that because, and the proof of it, that he dated an Arab woman. He had a relationship with an Arab woman. We later discovered that she was an underage prostitute of name Ruby. So he played the media, he played everybody in Italy, and he really almost wrecked the country. Yeah. And the issue with Trump we're seeing now with his private meetings, look at what happened. He's deflecting exactly like Berlusconi. So Trump is now mocking and insulting the people on Broadway, especially at Hamilton, to cover the real issue. And the real issue is his meeting with Japanese leaders and his Indian partners, and especially what happened with a phone call with Argentina. The president called him, and what happened immediately the day after, all of his enterprise have open access, and his business deals are approved immediately. This smells of corruption, and this is what we need to hold him on.
Okay, Rula Jabril, Barbie and Joe, stand by. When we come right back, why Silvio